Good morning, everyone. This is Joe with Ohio Woodburner, and we are a small delivery service here in Northeast Ohio. We specialize in two things. One, we deliver firewood, and the second one is we walk around in ankle-deep water all day long. So much for the weather here in Northeast Ohio. And I know it looks gorgeous out right now, and it is. It's a little bit on the brisk side, but man, I can sum up last week in two words. It rained a lot. It just rained. Yesterday, I delivered a full cord of firewood to a restaurant in a driving rain. It was awful. I was just soaking wet. And then I still had another half cord to go out later in the evening. And, that is one of the things about the firewood industry. And probably, you can be self-employed and work in an office, but my choice was to do firewood. So you're going to be outdoors a lot. And that was the one thing I didn't really account for was, the effect that weather has on your life. I find myself every day looking at how the weather is going to be and how that's going to affect my day. So what we got going on today, we had a whole week of rain, and I tried to deliver the wood in between the rainstorms. But today would be a great day for production. But I have one daughter on this side of the county in a track meet, and I have another daughter playing a college softball game in Pennsylvania. So I'm going to try and hit both of them and see what I can do. So that is, becoming self-employed was nice because it gives me the flexibility to do that kind of stuff. But who would have thought, that the weather has played such a big role? Maybe I should have known that the weather is going to be a big deal. Being in the firewood business, living this lifestyle. It's just one of those things that you didn't expect because it was something new that I've never done before. It got me thinking, there are three other things that I have learned by quitting my real job and then getting into firewood. Or in this case, regardless of whatever industry that you choose to be in. If you're going to open a coffee shop, if you're going to, do computer programming, or in this case, are you going to sell firewood? There are three things that I had learned and that I had experienced that I just wanted to share with you guys, because I really do think, and hearing some of your guys' comments, that there are a number of you out there that, are maybe looking to do what I'm doing and taking that leap of leaving the corporate life and running off and doing your own thing. In my case, it wasn't as much of a leap of faith as it was a calculated risk, because I was at a crossroads with my career. They wanted me to relocate, and I didn't want to. And I had my dad who was in declining health, and it was an opportunity for me to step away to take care of him. And I did feel that I had a reasonable chance of getting back into the workforce when that time came. The firewood thing, was a side hustle to me while all this was going on, and it started growing. And when Dad passed away, I was planning on going back to my real job, but the Ohio Woodburner just became too big to walk away from. And my wife gave me the thumbs up, and here we are. But I did experience three very real things that I hope might put into contrast, this kind of decision. And, it doesn't come easy, all right? But the first one was the first day, when you make that choice and you make the jump, the first day is the scariest day. It is. Let's just be realistic about this. It is scary. And if you were raised like me, that you play by the rules, you do good in school, and you find yourself a job and you commit to that job, for the rest of your life, right? Growing up in a steel town, that was the prescription for a successful life. That very first day, it was scary because it just felt wrong. I wasn't I wasn't going into an office anymore. I wasn't going into work. I wasn't getting up and showering and putting on my khaki pants and button-down shirt and driving for 45 minutes in traffic, to go spend the day with a bunch of people, and then go home at the end of the day. All of that just came to an end, and it just felt weird. It did. And then you quickly learn right away that the world doesn't care. And you hear that all the time too about your job. You work with people and you care about them, but for the most part, and what they always say is true. If you were to die today, your family would mourn you for forever, and your job would have your seat filled by the end of the day, right? So life goes on where you used to work, and all your friends that you had, you soon part ways, and you realize that just nobody cares. You're on your own, and that was the scary part of it. Was you are fully accountable now to yourself, and it was scary. It felt weird, but when day 2 came around, when you woke up and you didn't have a place to drive into, and in this case here, my new work is out here in my waterlogged yard. It was good. The second thing is you're trading. Okay, here's number 2, guys. You are trading one boss for another. And I hope that you're at a job where you have a great relationship with your boss, and he or she, makes you a better employee. And I think that was the case for me. The job that I was leaving, I had probably the best boss that I'd ever had. And between the start of my career and the end, I had every different kind of boss that you can imagine. Narcissists, very well intended, but they were always showing favoritism to whoever else. Poor communicators, excellent communicators, the whole thing. All right, I experienced everything. But when if you are wanting to leave your job and start off on your own thing because you hate your boss, or you just don't like having a boss, you're not getting away from that when you start a job like this, because you're trading your one boss for the other, and your new boss is going to be your customers, and they are probably the most competent boss that you can possibly have, because if you don't come through for them, they're gone. You are fully and 100% accountable to your customers. And I hope that if you do take a step into a service-based industry, like Firewood, delivery. This is a service industry, that you take it on as a humble servant, and that you commit to customer service, and that is the only thing that matters. Everything else plays a role to satisfying the customer. So if you think that you're just getting into this to escape a boss, you are not. You are just trading one boss for the other. All right? That's just the way it is. And the third thing that I have learned is there's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to hide, man. When I worked in that cubicle, if I showed up with a headache, I could make things happen to where I was invisible for the day, and life would go on and the company would still thrive. If I was just I just didn't feel like working, and I think we all get that way. You just don't feel like doing anything today. You can go hide off in your office, shut the door, or just pretend that you're busy, and you can get away with it. When you are self-employed, when you are running your business, and at least in my case, as a sole proprietor, there's nowhere to hide, man. If you take the day off because of the weather, nothing's getting done. If you woke up with a headache and you're just going to take it easy today, that's all that your day is going to be. You just laying around suffering with a headache. Ooh, the geese are coming in. It's been so wet back here. The geese were in my yard this morning. That's how wet it's been. Jeez, this weather's just been awful. But it looks awesome right now. It does. But that's the whole thing. There is nowhere to hide. You are fully accountable for everything that happens. If you didn't get the firewood made yesterday, it didn't get made. If you didn't get that delivery out, you didn't get the delivery out, right? So that, I think, is probably the biggest thing that I had responded to, because, yeah, you know, I think I had a moderately successful corporate career, all right? But I wasn't like a workaholic. I wasn't, you know, into it to where it was like the most important thing in my life. You know, my family is the most important thing in my life, and the job played a role to satisfying that life. And there's a lot of people out there that, you know, it's the other way around. I worked with a few of them. I mean, these guys worked, and that was the only thing in life that seemed to matter to them. This one guy, I'm serious, he was on his third wife. He was a chain smoker, and man, that guy would work, and he would not stop. He even said, you know, that if he won the lottery, he would be back in the very next day. That's just the way he was. I'm the type, if I won the lottery, you know, they would have never seen me again. I would have never gone into the work the very next day. I'd have just been gone. I'd be working at the most awesomest firewood yard you'd ever seen. If I won the lottery, though, I would still continue to sell firewood. That's the truth. All right. But those are the three things that I had learned. I guess the fourth would be, you know, that a lot depends on the weather. But I just wanted to share that with you. We have had just a busy week, and I'm not into numbers, and when I calculate all this stuff up, I know that my week last week was probably one of the busiest weeks I've ever had, and that includes the previous fall, where you know, our growth is increasing and our sales are going up. So we are continuing to grow, and I think there might be, you know, my machines can only do so much, because when I'm out delivering, the machines aren't running. So there might be, I might need to make another assessment here, another time to pivot and try to find someone that is able to split firewood without cutting their hand off. You know, that's my biggest fear. Okay, guys, that is what I was hoping to share with you guys. And please leave your comments down below. I got to hit the road, and I got to go watch a ball game. It's getting kind of exciting. So everyone have a great day.